It never really tells you.
Oh, right, okay.
It just goes video is starting.
Well, I don't trust it. Anyway, look, ladies and gentlemen, uh, thanks for joining us. There's a couple of things I wanted to briefly talk about, then a somewhat of a puzzle that seems to have been resolved that I want to talk about after that. First up, we've got an online conference coming up soon with TJ and Paul and Phoebe, haven't we?
Yeah, we do. There's a link in the side comment to that. We're launching that today, so
Okay.
it's going to be a good conference.
Yeah, and Leah and I are going to talk to Mesref, and it's about overseas, isn't it?
Yeah, so there'll be um, lots of topics about overseas
Sites and stuff,
sites,
yeah.
traveling,
Yeah.
stories, things like that. So a bit of a global focus this time.
And we're going to antagonise the people who have a go at us for doing woo-woo stuff.
Oh, woo woo.
We're going to do all woo-woo stuff, and that'll. What I figured is we haven't done it for a couple of times, have we?
I don't think so.
No, we haven't. So I thought I'd throw it all into one. We're going to talk about the link of magic and the truth of magic and original society. Second up, we've got our next on workshop here, and there's still a few seats left.
There's a couple seats left. There's a link in the side for that one as
Yep.
well, and Darren will be joining us for that one
Yeah,
as well.
Darren will be joining. This is going to be a longer one. It's going to go for 4 hours. We'll have one in the sort of morning going a bit of the afternoon and most of the afternoon, and I think running to about 5 o'clock or something. Still be light outside, won't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so it won't be that bad. Now, ladies and gentlemen, primarily what I want to talk about is this. It's a series of. It was a survey. Now, we've had the rocks in formation for quite some time, and I've heard people talking about stuff, and I walk away from it because I'm not supposed to listen. And I've heard bits and pieces, and I've had the impression that a lot of people have been affected by the rocks, but I never had a quantitative base to work upon. So when we did the online workshop, so not online, but live workshop where people came in small groups, no more than 8, to sit between the rocks. The whole focus was the rocks, and we had this survey, and I'm holding one up at the moment. And in it, I did not want to know the content of what happened to them, but I wanted to know everything else, and it was broken up into 3 areas. Was this experience directed towards mind, soul, or whole body? The manner of contact, and I've written down a variety of different things I thought could fit: handstand on end, vision, voice, telepathic contact, chills. I even put heat in, feeling energy waves, and then the types of message, whether it's a premonition, a sensation of well-being, wisdom shared, energy inflow, charging the body, charging the soul, charging the mind. And what I wanted people to do is to write a score of 1 to 10. Now, I want to make a point before I explain exactly what happened here. We also made it clear, and we will continue to make this clear in every one of these workshops, ceremonies, whatever you want to call them, that if people got no response whatsoever, like the first one was 3.5 hours, and I think we charged $150, unless you're a subscriber, and it's less, it's 20% less. We made the guarantee, irrespective of whether you're a subscriber or someone who's paid the full 120, 150, 120. If you did not get what you thought was any sort of contact from the rocks, we will gladly refund without any questions $50. Now, if you paid $120 if you're a subscriber for 3.5 hours, and you get $50 off for $10, that means the rest of it is $70 for 3 hours and 20 minutes, which is a pretty good deal. Now, I wanted to make that point because it's anecdotal and because it's subjective in that I ask people for responses here, even though they're numbered. People are going to say, oh, they just did this to win your curry, or because they wanted to fit in with the others, but we gave them an incentive to say nothing happened. We gave them a financial incentive. We weren't going to question if they said they got nothing. We would give them the money back straight away. So I think that balances that out to an extent, because there is a financial incentive to say nothing happened. You don't gain money by saying something happened, you actually lose it. And this is what I find interesting. Of the 34 people who filled these sheets out, and I'm just holding one up now, you will find, and here's a different one, and I'll keep holding them up, and you'll find two things. Number one, every time I hold them up, everyone has a different score. Nobody got the same score. They got different reactions, but there's two things I want to talk about. Of the 34 people there, 33 had some sort of reaction. Never the same, some sort of reaction. And one person, and I'm looking at it right now, got nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I want to be honest about that, because there's no... Some people said because of instances with this person we should take them out of the survey, and I thought about that for a second. I thought, no, put it in, because it actually proves something. What I am going to say about this person, it was two people together. The other person had a great response, so that's not that the issue. It's not an issue about someone... These two people didn't pay. Someone else couldn't come and ask them to fill in. Now, they knew nothing about this because, as you know, we told everyone they've got to wear gloves. They knew nothing about anything. They didn't bring gloves. But I want to make a point, and it's not a critique, that the person who scored nothing did three different things that all of us noticed that we weren't happy with. And I've got to be honest, after the first thing that was done, I thought to myself, at that stage we were just sitting around the rocks, we weren't doing it, no one was sitting inside, and we were just doing a bit of a show and tell and a talk, and I thought to myself, I'm wondering when that person sits between the rocks whether they're prepared to give anything. They didn't. They gave nothing. So I found that, to begin with, I was quite surprised until I worked out who it was, and then I found out that that was exactly what should have happened. I said before, this is not for everyone. Now, everyone who actually paid, who turned up, got a result. The one person who couldn't get there, the people they chose, one got a great result and the other one didn't. That's not a critique. It just means that this particular stage of their development, the rocks are just not ready to share. That's all it means. But this is what I expected. What I didn't expect is when I went through the other 33 responses, there were things there that quite shocked me. And now one of the things I put in there was I mentioned the word heat. And I thought to myself, why am I doing this? Why would I mention heat? And it turns out, ladies and gentlemen, that when you look at the manner of contact, feeling energy waves from the circle was that happened on nearly every occasion. They could feel the energy. Quite a few, surprising to me, gave a score for voice, but what really threw me was there were about 10 people, I'm looking at one here right now, well, under heat, the score was 10. That's the maximum score you can get. And it was interesting when you go to the next one, when I look at all these, none are exactly the same. Now, even when we made this offer, I still had question marks, honestly, because we've all got a rational mind, and I've said before, it never shuts up. It does now. 33 out of 34. Now, I've got to make the point, most people seem to be scoring 7s and 8s, and there's quite a few 10s. There were a few people who got 3s and 4s at different parts, got some sort of reaction, but it wasn't as strong. I would say the majority of people, on average, the score for these different things was around about 7 or 8. Quite a few did 10 and a couple did 3 and 4, and I think it comes out around that score. But on these particular results here, what I am finding is that nearly everyone had many 10s, quite a few 9s, where they had massive reactions from this. Others told me when a lot walked in, they walked in with their eyes sort of bulging a little bit like a zombie, one person said, and just staggered in because they were so overwhelmed by what took place. What I am saying is that I was hoping this was going to work, but it does. It does work. And what happens varies from person to person, but what will take place is they come out of this better people. Now I can say this because I'm looking at the results here. If you're getting any energy inflow that's charging your body, charging your soul and your mind, how is that a bad thing? If you're receiving some form of wisdom share, which is an 8 on this one, a 9 on this one, and a 9 on this one, and it varies from person to person. This person changed that to an energy outflow to the rocks. So one person said their energy was going into the rocks. Another person, I've got this one in front of me now, said, yeah, I've got energy waves from the circle, but she said, I can't put anything on hair, stand on end, or vision, or voice, or telepathic content, or chills, or heat. I didn't get any of that. But can I write down one for crying? So this person got energy and started to cry. Another person had an energy inflow into the mind and into the body. It didn't have other things. Everyone's different. And that's what we're offering with this. And that's why the Ramajeri we're trying to set up a place where they'll be stored permanently, where people can go there and use it a bit like a place of refuge, a place to be recharged, a place to get your soul back on track. All those things seem to be happening in abundance. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to keep doing these workshops. And I'll make the point before that Evan and I weren't happy about this to begin with. We didn't really think of this as an idea we wanted to do, but the rocks did. Now I can see why, because it works. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would invite you to come and join us at one of the workshops that are going to take place this year, knowing that eventually, and some people have seen the stuff we're doing before, the Ramajeri are working right now putting something together. And at our workshop, we're going to have Darren, one of the Ramajeri spokesperson for the group, who'll be talking to you in more detail about Kano and what they're trying to do. They'll be there as well. But the focal point of all of these workshops are the rocks and the rings and all the things that made this happen. And what we do is we have people sitting inside the rocks for 10 minutes. And then when they come back into our group, we have a couple of gloves on, where each group is given a rock, and they've been asked on 2 occasions to play the role of an archaeologist and try and work out what it all meant. What was fascinating with that, we did that 4 times, and on each occasion we did it twice, and once. There was a reason for that, which is 7 times. Not one group didn't get some or pick up some of what that rock was about. Every group picked up some of it, and some people picked up a lot. There's one person I can think of, a gentleman, by the way, not a lady, which was unusual, that was stunning, was finding stuff I'd taken a year to find, and he stood there for 10 seconds and said, I can sense this, I can feel this. So it does work. I can tell you today, one of the people there we did some healing with, I got a phone call today from that person and said primarily that there was a massive issue on this side of his body for the last 10, 15 years and been in constant pain, couldn't lay on one side of his body, and he rang me up to tell me it's all better. He's feeling so much better because we put some rocks on him to heal. That, and we know which one are the healing rocks, and we tried it. This guy said, I've got a real issue, can we try it out? When I said, yeah, we'll give it a go. I've done this a few times, and lo and behold, he's been healed too. So these rocks are on song. They are working. And for those of you who thought, well, I don't really know if this makes sense, how can a rock do all these things? Well, to be honest, even in the back of my head, even after I've had some of these rocks for over a decade, and I've seen so many things they've done, I've never doubted them. I did then. I still couldn't work out for sure, is this really going to work? I mean, maybe it works on some people. Does it work on anyone that really needs it? And the answer is, yeah, it does. It actually works. So I'm more, if anything, yeah, by all means, come and join our online conference, where by all means join that. It'll be a good one. TJ and Paul and Phoebe are both great speakers, and they've got a great story to share. And by all means, if you can get to one of our workshops, that would be great. And we are, for those of you that are overseas, we are filming the next one, and we will put it up. And it's a very good second best. But if you're overseas, you can't do the best, and the best is to actually sit inside the circle. We'll put the camera inside the circle for 10 minutes and leave the camera inside there, and I know we've done that once before and that did work to an extent. And we promise we do that because the majority of the people that follow us, and there's, I think on Facebook, there's about 18,000 and more than half are from overseas. And the same with our YouTube channel, more than half of them too. We've got to do something for you guys too. We weren't going to do it in the first one, but we are going to see if we can do it in the second one. But we've got to get permission first from the group there. And if anyone doesn't want to be filmed, then we'll work it out. We'll try and work out if we can find a group that's all happy with that. And we want to film that so we can share this overseas. And in particular, we'll take you inside when we're doing rock workshops, and we'll take you outside at the finish, and you can spend time between the rocks. So ladies and gentlemen, do the rocks work? Well, I was pretty sure they would, but there's one way to find out. And what we are going to do, you see we've got these massive forms here that are all being filled out. When the next group comes, they'll be filling out the same survey, and the group that after will fill out the same survey. And after we've done about 3 or 4 and we're over 100, there are patterns that will start to emerge. But there is one pattern that has already emerged, and it is established. The rocks are working. And the most fascinating part of this is this person here gave a 10 for vision, a 10 for voice, and 10 for telepathic content. Now, I'm not guaranteeing that every person is going to get 10 in everything. And I mean, if I go back, I'll just pull one out at random here. Oh no, that one's all 8, 9s and 10s. But here we go. Here's one I'm going to hold up there. You'll see there's a variety. You'll see a couple of 1s, and sometimes nothing. Oh, this one's got something for every one of them. But on 2, they got nothing. On the 2, they got nothing was a voice. They didn't hear one. And they didn't get chills. But they got heat at 10, energy waves at 10, telepathic contact at 8, a vision at 7, and a little bit of hair standing on end because I got a 5 for that. Each one's different. Okay, every time, every one of them's different. But I am going to tell you, time after time, when I hold this up, the most common score given is a 10. So this is not my story, this is not my idea, and this is not my suspicion. It's 34 people's fact. And the thing I am going to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, just to make this clear, if you are a person who's still got a lot of doubts, that's still not sure that this is real, or knows very little about it, then you shouldn't come. Seriously, because the rocks will do the same thing they did to that person. And as I said, I'm not saying for 1 second that I'm criticizing the person who got nothing. It's not their fault. It's not my fault. It's not the rock's fault. It's just that you're not ready at that particular time. And if you're listening to this right now, and I sort of doubt you would be, because you actually didn't know a thing about us, and you didn't bring gloves, and you really knew nothing about us. But if you are, it's not a critique. It's just to remind people that if you are on this road, this will help. This will make that road stronger and make you more centered in where you're moving under these times of chaos and strife and fear. If you're not on this road yet, don't come. Wait until you are, until you're committed, and then this will help you get direction and a focus point, a focal point. So ladies and gentlemen, next up, I've got an article I'm writing at the moment, 2 + 2 = infinity, and we'll get to that soon enough. But because I'm mainly talking about the workshop survey, to assure people, if you are thinking of coming to one of these workshops, it's going to work. If you are on track and trying to find a way out of this mess and believe that what we're doing at the moment isn't good enough, and do believe that the ceremony worked and the indigenous people of the planet are saying the earth is changing and the Schumann resonance is off the planet, if you believe all those things and they're true, then you should come. And I guarantee you, you'll come out of this a better person you came in, for sure. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've been told to try and turn this off myself.
I'm here.
And Evan's here.